Holy smokes, guys. How you doing? First and foremost, we're a little bit pressed for time, so we're just going to get right into the show because I have a lot to say. Yes, I do. Woo! Play my music! I'm the champ of my music! Seth Rollins, WWE, you guys, you know what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Full Circus. My name is Tristan, and I'm so thrilled to be here with you guys today, no matter how much effort and work and perseverance it took to get here. All right, I've been on a journey, a battle, a war, perseverance. All right, it's been the name of the game. Perseverance? Or is it you know what? It's just, I've been trying, okay? Times have been ahead, good times, bad times, and I've been working through them, and they're not over yet, to be honest with you, all right? It is 86.7 degrees inside, so that's extra thrilling. I don't know if that's necessarily conducive to, you know, podcasting, entertainment, performance, or just life and comfortability in general, all right? So I'm going to try and get through this as quick as I can. I got some stories. I'll try and keep them brief. I say that ahead of time because I know that it won't be. But also I have no idea what kind of timetable I'm working on before computers, microphones, you know, cameras start shutting off. Everybody's so worried about AI. Oh, they're going to take over the world. Robots, doom, destruction. You know, but until I can record in a little bit of cold, a little bit of warm, without all the technology going, you know what, I just don't really feel like it. And they just shut down. I'm not too worried. You know, you babies, you hear me? Listen up. You guys are whining, complaining, spoiled little brats. I'm out here, I'm doing it, I'm working, and they got the gall to go, so I wouldn't fret, all right? And that's just a little bit of comfort that I like to put at the top of the show, because some people, I'm sure you woke up stressed, a little bit of anxiety, go robots, toasters, Siri, you know, but I'm here to say, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Unless the cameras make it perfectly throughout the show, then we might be in trouble because they're evolving. But anyways, guys, yes, I've been on quite the expedition, all right? I mentioned in the last episode that I had to go out of state, out of town to Indiana for a little bit of an acting trip over the course of a few days. And that was all well and good. I was excited for it, but everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And that's sort of the Murphy's Law, all right? And we're still sitting in the chair, chest held high, all right? Head held high, chest out. You know what? Everything's held high because we walk on the world like you're a king, because everything works out for you even when it doesn't. And that's the motif. That's the motto. That's how you live life. People go, does everything really work out for you? You just keep saying you work out for you. I work out for me. Bang. But truthfully, real quick, about the point of optimism, a lot of people ask me, Tristan, how do you stay so positive in such times of crisis and panic? And the phrase that I always say, that everything works out for me, I think it's twofold. One, you can phrase it and look at it in the sense like everything works out for me, even the things that don't, they technically work out in my favor. And you can look at that everything happens for a reason and everything sort of builds, and I know everything's going to be okay. Because it always is, isn't it? And even if it isn't, is it better to just assume that it's going to be until it's not, instead of living this, well, what if it crashes and burns? What if my camera dies? You can't live like that. But two, you know, it's perspective. And the sort of observation, the stuff that you look for. It's like that test with, is it Tony Robbins? You know, or I don't know if he made it up. I just saw him do it, where they have somebody close their eyes and they say, hey, look around the room, find me everything that was orange. And then people go, oh, I noticed that this football was there and that Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Award was there. And then you start thinking about some things like, was that really orange? Was it a little bit red? I'm still going to call it, because you're looking for it and you're trying to find it and you're trying to name some stuff. And then with your eyes still closed, they go, okay, now name me everything that was purple. And you're like, I didn't see anything purple. Yeah, because you weren't told to look for it. And it's different because you're trying to find it. And anytime you're looking for things that work out for you, and you just keep saying that, and that's your motto, and you say it, especially in a very braggadocious and arrogant way, everything works out for me, you really start believing it. And then every little thing that does, you go, you know what? Gosh freaking dang, do things work out for me? So even, I want to say this up top, before I go through this tale of things that, you know, people might argue didn't work out for me, I am saying things all worked out for me, all right? I'm still feeling froggy, and I'm ready to leap. So anyways, guys, all that to say, I did I did have a little bit of a battle. Okay, it was a war of attrition for sure, in which the universe was just feeding me. All right, just like the Grinch when they're giving him pudding and brownies and fudge. Bring it on! This is not fun. What is it? And it was just trying to drown me. All right, and it was a battle on who was going to give in, who had enough to stay resilient in the pursuit of greatness. And I'm sitting here. I don't see the universe doing a podcast in 86.7 degrees heat. So anyways, yeah, I had to get up early in the morning, which is not my forte to begin with. Sleep schedule out the window, not good to begin with. But I also just had the inkling that the times were ahead, trials. So I was trying to stay up and get some extra work done, just in case of crap hit the proverbial fan, okay? And boy, did crap hit it. Crap was on the fan, just to begin with. I got a crap fan. Maybe fan hit the crap. So I was already staying up late, and I had like 4 hours by the time I was done to get some rest and wake up. That being said, when you don't have a lot of time to wake up, you're like, am I going to be so tired that I missed the alarm? So I'm already freaking out, and I'm already nervous, and I'm setting different stoves and laptops and computers and phones and tablets and anything I can find in this house to try and make sure that I will be there. I even steal my aunt and uncle's alarm clock, which I need to tell them, by the way, because it's going to reset their alarm, and I don't want them to be like, what happened? Point is, I was like going to leave the fridge open too. Just like, when does it beep? Because I was just desperate and I'm scared, and I don't like being late for anything. So I was so nervous, dude. I was so nervous. So I'm laying there 4 hours, and it's like that one thing where you watch the clock keep ticking down, you're doing the math, and it's not really the math, it just says 4 hours remaining. So I'm like, oh boy, 4 hours of sleep, that'll be a long day, but I can make it down. I can make it in 4 hours, okay? You're an energy hound, okay? You live on energy, you thrive. You can make it on 4 hours. And then doing that, I was kind of charging myself. I was like, stop. No, you're not an energy hound. You're not an energy hound. Sleep. And you see that go to 3. And it goes to 2, and I'm really getting nervous right now, and I'm slowly beginning to drift off, and I've got these dogs with me, right? And the thing that kind of made it even worse was that I was comfortable, I was finally getting somewhere, and then Hazel, sweet baby girl, she pops her head up, whips it into the darkness, and bolts off into the shadowy abyss. And you go, huh? What was that? And I thought maybe she just didn't, like the music that I was listening to, found a more comfortable spot, or she was just knowing that in 2 hours, the whole world was going to erupt with different, alarms and beeps and such. So I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm still trying to sleep, and I hear her start barking, and almost like a yelp. And far away into the distance, you're like, huh? Hey, Hazel! And you're calling for the dog, and she's barking. I'm yelling, Hazel, come back. Hazel, come here. And I'm calling out, do you want treats? Do you want to go outside? Do you want to go for a walk? And it's like 4 a.m., and I'm not getting anything. All of a sudden, barking stops. Hazel. Nothing. Now I got to get up, and I got to go check. Okay, so I don't know where this dog is. I don't know what room, what floor she's on. And it's pitch black, and I'm like feeling around for light switches because I don't know the environment. And my flashlight is with my phone that is also charging and dead. So I'm just wandering around through the dark trying to find this dog. Hazel, you want to go outside? You want a treat? You want to go to the park? I'm trying to anything. Like, you want to go for snow cones? I don't know what she's into, but I was hoping I could get her to come out, and she won't, okay? So I start clearing different floor plans, the upper rooms, the middle rooms, and finally go into the basement, pitch black, and I'm not getting a word. I'm like starting to freak out. Like, maybe someone's in the house? Did somebody stop the dog from barking? So I'm calling her out, still nothing. I get no response, and all of a sudden, dog, sprint, leaps into my arms, okay? I don't know if you've ever had any animal, all right, run at you full charge, but especially in the nighttime when you're already half asleep and you're a little bit on edge at the same time. I'm like tired, but also, the adrenaline spiking. It's a weird sort of balance, and it freaked me out. I don't know where she came from. I don't know what she was doing. I was like, well, you come upstairs. You know what? We're all sleeping together now. We're not having any more of this madness. Not really, just for your sake, but more for mine, because I'm kind of nervous. So let's hunker down, barricade. We're going to be okay. So it was an interesting time. It did wake me back up eventually. So then I saw that there was 90 minutes of rest to remain. And somewhere along then, I think I blinked for too long. I'm not sure if it was necessarily a rest, but then I woke up, I was like, oh my gosh, we gotta hop on the road, and I was taking the dogs out. I gotta go. I gotta let everybody out and take it around. And I hit the road, dude. I hit the road, man. And that's not even the bad part of the story. I hit the road ready for the final battle, okay? To see what was out there. What did the universe have for me? It was just giving me some samples. And I went, yeah, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing to me. So I get out there and music's playing. I'm having a day. I'm coming to life. I was like, man, that was a little inconvenient. But we're back, dude. You're an energy hound again. Yeah, you thrive. So I'm driving the 5 hours to this place, right? I make it 4.5. I'm about 25 miles out. And all of a sudden, bing, bing, my battery light comes on. And now my phone is not charging. And it's on about 4 or 5%. I have no way of charging it. My battery's about to die. I call my dad with my last little semblance of connection. I go, hey, just to check, what's this gonna do? And he goes, yeah, your alternator's dead, which means the car has about 15 to 30 minutes left before it dies and you stall out. And I go, oh, okay. So he came up with a ruse, a plot, a plan to get to the nearest AutoZone if I can and get a backup battery. That way I can at least make it to set. Because again, I hate being late. I don't want to be late to set. So I'm flying down the highway. Phone, also, I need it for directions because I need to find a way to get to the freaking set in the first place. I'm trying to fly down the highway to find the nearest AutoZone if the car can even make it that far. I'm on borrowed time to start, okay? So I'm flying down. I find the AutoZone. It's not too far away from set. I'm surprised the car even made it that far. It starts pouring rain. I've got the AC off. I got no phone charger. I got no windshield wipers because I'm trying to preserve as much battery as I can, just hoping that I can get to this place. So then I run to AutoZone to get this backup battery, and I'm trying to pop the hood on my car, but then I remember that the hood latch is broken, so it needs 2 people. So I'm standing in the rain trying to get this extra battery, and so I lasso 2 phone chargers together over my car door, and I'm pulling at the same trying to lift it up, get it open. And also I paid like $250, close to $300 for this new battery, and I was just getting punched in the face. It was starting off, I mean, it already started off bad, and it was starting to get worse. So I make it to set. I'm panicked, and I'm trying to get there as fast as possible. They actually wanted us to park somewhere else and get shuttled in. And I was like, I don't know if I can park there and get back. So I just parked. I found, my own parking. It just, not too far. It might have been illegal parking for sure, but I just snuck my way onto set. And like, yeah, did you get shuttled? I forget. I was in a vehicle for sure. Oh, okay. You know what? You're here now. So it was all crazy. It was madness. It was pandemonium. And then I got onto set and I was finally able to breathe. I was able to charge my phone there, and I was able to sort of recoup and recover and come up with a plan. Okay. So I had a game plan. The idea was that I needed to get to another AutoZone and buy an alternator and fix it in the parking lot with my new battery that I would like to return eventually, because I guess the battery isn't bad. So anyways, I'm on set. It's fine. They actually don't really use me for most of the day, and some people were complaining like, "Yeah, I'm fine, dude. I'm just sitting around eating snacks. Okay, you're getting paid just to look pretty. I've been doing that for free." So it was starting to like come around. So anyways, all that to say, I get done with set, and now you're out of the frying pan into the fire. I got to get back in this car. I have no idea if it's gonna start again. So I turn it on. Light's still on. There's an unknown amount of minutes left on this thing, and I gotta try and get to this hotel because I also need to go and record some more voiceover. And I picked this hotel specifically because it was supposed to be all carpeted and it looked like it had these nice closets, and it was going to be wonderful for recording. All right, so at the very least, I was going to get in there. It was going to be nice and cool. I was going to start recording. So I drive. I somehow, dude, by the grace of God, I make it to this hotel, and as luck would have it, there's an O'Reilly's auto parts. I don't know if they just have 1 or 2. I don't know how many parts they have, but there's an O'Reilly Auto Parts like built into the hotel. It's like right next to it. It's part of the same parking lot. I was like, yes, thank you, Lord. You've given me a gift. You gave me a gift. So I started winning again, dude. I went down and I'm back. Yeah, another win. And you know what? You find one little minor win like that, and I forgot everything that even happened. I forgot I was on no sleep. I forgot the times right. I forgot I was soaking wet when I showed up to set. I forgot that I just lost $300 trying to go make money. Okay, but anyways, I get into this hotel. I'm excited to go check in. We're gonna get this thing going. And I will say this: I've never been to one of these hotels where they don't have an actual kiosk or like a hotel clerk. They don't have anybody there. It's abandoned. There's no one. There's just a singular little like vending machine. Okay. And I'm trying to figure out how do I check in. I'm looking for a bell and I'm knocking on stuff. So eventually I call the hotel and I'm like, hey, I don't know how to check in. I don't know how to get to my room. And the guy's like, okay, give me 1 second. Screen on the vending machine lights up. There's a guy there. Now I'm in some sort of Skype call. So he's like, hey, you're here to check in for the hotel room. And I go, uh-huh. What's happening? You know, I was so baffled. So it's weird. The guy, he's got like some sort of fake background that looks like you can see him like sort of phasing in and out of the, you know, Zoom or whatever it is. CGI guy's clearly not in the same time zone as us, and I can't really understand it. I'm trying to get to my room, and it's just it was a whole debacle. But you know what? The O'Reilly Auto Parts was right next to me. I was fine, dude. It didn't matter what was gonna happen because I don't gotta drive anywhere to go get that alternator now. I've been blessed by the Lord. That being said, then I did get to my room and there was no carpet and there were no walk-in closets and the AC did not work all that well. So it was a cool 75 degrees with it blasting. It was loud. The TV didn't work. The Wi-Fi didn't work, which I needed for recording. There was no alarm there as well. So I was a bit nervous going into the next day of work, which again, I'm like, how do I wake up? How do I, I need like extra measures. There's no alarm. There's not even a Bible. Okay. If that tells you what kind of hotel we're dealing with, every hotel has a Bible. All right. Even the Satan worshiping hotels, I'm sure like, you know what? That's what hotels do. We're going to put a Bible in there. So I wasn't too thrilled. And I try to build this giant, bed size booth as much as I can. I gotta have the AC off, so again it's like 90 degrees in there, and you know what, your body's used to it. All right, you just got the Italian blood. I'm fine. I'm thriving. I mean, it's warm. I'm sweating, but I'm fine because the O'Reilly Auto Parts is right outside, so I'm gonna be just freaking sweet. But it was a bit of a bad town too, so there was a lot of noise. There was a lot of yelling. I did go downstairs very quickly. There was a vending machine. I was like, man, does this hotel have anything? Like, I really got duped. I tried to book through a third party too. I don't know if you've ever used like Expedia or Hotels.com or one of those instead of going to the actual site. So probably 8 seconds into checking in, I'm like, hey, could I not, could I just get a refund and just skedaddle? Like, I'm gonna go pay full price for a better area, and by full price I mean triple this if I got to. I didn't even pay cheap for this either. I paid what I thought was close to set, as well as what I thought was going to be, very acoustically treated. So I was already 0 for 2, but there's no Riley's Auto Parts right next door. So how bad can it be? So anyways, I try to get the refund. They're like, oh, sorry, you booked through a third party. You got to talk to the third party. So I talk to the third party. Like, oh, sorry, you actually booked with the hotel, so we can't do it. So they're both going, it's not really our fault, so there's nothing we can do about it. And I go down to the vending machine. There's a guy who's just wearing like a security, like it just says security on it, and he's just dressed normally. And I don't know if that was for fashion or not. I don't know if he was really doing his job because there was for sure people screaming throughout the entire night. Also not conducive to voiceover. And then in the middle of the night, someone just starts blaring, I'm bringing sexy back. Yep. So I was having a time, dude. I'm just sweating in a 90-degree little pillow fort. Like, it's got to stop soon. It's got to stop soon. You're going to turn the AC on. You're going to get this thing down to a cool 79 degrees. And you're going to... you're going to find a way to wake up in the morning, all right? And I was going to use a call, like at the hotel wake-up call, but again, the people don't work. There's no one working here, all right? You got to go down and Skype, so I go to talk to the person down there, too. I was like, hey, can I get out of this? And they're like, we don't know what time it is. And again, there was the whole third-party stuff, but they're not in the right time zone, so what if they wake me up? Like, yeah, could you wake me up at like 6:30 p.m.? I'm trying to do the math. So I was nervous. I was scared even. I don't want to be late, all right? I was just... So I go out to find an alarm clock. All right. I go out into, again, it's not the nicest place. It's not the nicest area. And I'm wandering throughout the streets, and I can't really drive my car at this moment. So I'm walking from store to store, and I find an alarm clock. I'm excited. I get it. I purchase it. I bring that back. I open it. There's no cord. It takes batteries. AAA. I got to go walk back out. Newsflash. It just starts thunderstorming. So when I'm walking through the rain to different various gas stations, nobody carries AAA batteries for some reason. And they've all got the bulletproof glass. You're like, do you have AAA? And they're like, shit. So I'm just trying to find batteries throughout the night. Again, before I instruct, like, everything that could go wrong would go wrong. But then you remember, there's that O'Reilly's Auto Parts. I'm going to be just fine. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to get the pieces, and we're going to be back on the road. The charge is going to be glorious. And I finally find the batteries, and I go back. I get all the alarms set up, and it's a whole thing. But you know what? We got it. We got it done. I had to use a lot of data. I had to hotspot my laptop just to send in the voiceover recordings I could do. And then, it ran through all that data because, again, there was no Wi-Fi. So it was a bit of an issue. But anyway, so I wake up, we get the set, we're doing things all great, all grand. And I was talking to my dad, and he was saying, your car's still running. That's weird. Usually the car should have died by now. And we come to the glorious conclusion that if the car's still running and I still have the extra battery, maybe the alternator is not bad. Do you really want to spend $350 on an alternator? Is that really the move? Because the car's running, so I'm thinking, maybe I just risk it. Maybe I just don't even get the alternator from O'Reilly's. Like, it's like a 10-minute job. It's really easy. It's really fine anyways. I mean, you know what? Yeah, I guess worst case scenario, we just risk it for the best. What's life without a bit of thrill? What's life without throwing a little bit of caution? Wind, yeah? So I don't go to O'Reilly's. I go right to set, and car's still running. I make it to the parking garage. We get there, and we get done early. Oh, we're back on track, baby. The AAA alarm clock worked perfectly. I'm out of that hotel. I'm scot-free, and I'm on the way home. I get done. And I'm so excited. I can't believe it. I've conquered. It was a bit of a mess, and my lone bright spot was that I had that O'Reilly's, but I didn't even need it. How amazing is that? I was gifted a gift, and I didn't even need to take it because I was so well off. So I get about 90 minutes into my drive. Car shuts down. Okay, well, that's not ideal. And because I was on set, my phone is not really all that charged. And because I'd used all my data trying to use the work that I had to do, the non-existent Wi-Fi, I didn't really have much data or any way to contact people. And so I'm a bit nervous, right? Car is sort of sputtering down the road, and it's one of those things where you're like, putting your arm out the window, trying like pat, I'll get some extra air, and I'll maybe put my foot. I'm like, the Flintstones made this look so easy. So I find just an absolute downhill. I'm coasting. The car's dead at this point. There's no power steering. There's nothing. And I'm just trying to get off the road, really. So it was nice. We were in a moment of triumph, and the car breaks down. All right. And I was able to coast to a Dairy Queen. I get there, I get out with my phone charger, and I'm charging up, and I'm looking for autos. So I was like, okay, well, now we have to get that alternator. And I can't even tell you the amount of regret I felt, okay, when I start realizing that the Lord had offered and extended his hand in friendship, and I spat in his face. He's like, here's an O'Reilly's, my boy. My son, you don't need to go anywhere. All the parts are here for you, and you will triumph. And I went, what if I don't? And it blew up in my face, dude. I have to try and make it to this AutoZone, which, by the way, now I'm stranded in the middle of nowhere. I see freaking people in pilgrim outfits. They're like churning butter. And I was like, I got no cell reception. I got nobody to call. My phone's dead. We got no service. So I pull into the Dairy Queen, and I'm trying to charge my phone. Everyone's looking at me weird because I'm hot and sweaty and greasy. I'm like, all right, how do we do this? All right, how do we figure this out? And not to mention all the makeup that is on my face just coming from sets. They're like, yeah, he still is beautiful too, so it's fine. And I again have to whip in my new extra battery, and I'm throwing the thing and trying to pop the hood, and it's hot and it's sweaty, and I get the battery in, and yeah, that alone was a bit of a hassle, all right? Just the car immediately, like most things, it's very plug and play, pop it in and out. And there's all these different boxes, and like, the battery just doesn't lift like out of the normal cars that I've been in, so there's a bunch of different parts, and we got to take off battery mounts and whatever. So I was able to charge my phone up to about 18%. And I was able to find that there's an AutoZone about 17 minutes away. I don't know how much battery this new battery has. Again, it's like 15 to 30. So I'm about to take a shot. I had enough connection while I was at Dairy Queen to message people like, hey, this is where I'm going. I don't know if it's going to work out, but here we go, right? I'm like 4 or 5 hours away from home. There's nearly not much anything anybody can do to come help me. So I throw off into the wind, okay? I was able to get the alternator. I make it AutoZone. Dude, I'm getting punched in the face, but I'm already back, dude. I'm already back. It's like plug and play. You're going to pull the alternator out, put it right back in, get the charger going. It's going to be fine. Surely you're down a good $600, $700, all right? That's fine, though. You just made money. You're going to get back. It's going to be winning. So I get the alternator, and I pull into this parking lot, and dude, this was not the easiest. Not this, like, I'm not like the greatest mechanic of all time either. But every single thing was hard for me. Okay. So one, battery's on borrowed time. I'm able to charge it just enough to get my phone to blink back on and go, hey, I'm at this parking lot. Here's where I am, working on a car. Dead. So I will say to everybody that I was texting, friends, family, I do apologize. I know everybody was worried, and I would turn my phone back on. I would get it just enough to go, oh, sorry. And like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm going to keep going, I'm going to get it. And every bolt was rusted out. This car's from 2010. I don't think anything's been touched in a while. I can't even get anything on a single bolt. Not to mention, most of it takes a 12, a wrench, or a socket, which is, for some reason, the one thing that does not come in my socket set. It goes 11, 13. What are the chances? So now I got to walk to an AutoZone because I'm just parked at a Dollar Tree. Because I left, I don't know, in my head, I was like, you don't want to do it in the face. I'll drive a little bit away. So I was like, yeah, you know what? They'll be like, he didn't need that. His car's fine. I don't know what my thinking was there. I didn't want to do it in the parking lot, or maybe I was afraid you couldn't do it in the parking lot. I was also just looking for shade. All right, there was a few things going through my head. By the way, I also got 90 minutes of sleep that night before from the hotel because I was up late because I had to wait for people to stop partying so I could record, and I was afraid of the alarms. So that being said, I'm on a total of like 3 hours of sleep across these days. So I go to try and replace this alternator, and I can't, and I'm beating everything on. The car's boiling hot because I drove it as far as I could. So my hands right now, they're still covered in heat blisters and cuts and bruises, and I'm trying to pull this thing, and it's just brutal. I'm immediately pissed, dude. I'm fired up. I'm sleep deprived. It's 92 degrees out in Indianapolis, and people keep walking by like, having a car trouble? I go, oh yeah. And go, well, I had a car breakdown right here last summer. Had to say goodbye to it. It was too much. It just did not work out. I go, oh, really? And he goes, all right, have a good day. Walks away. And there's a bunch of different homeless people. They keep coming by. You doing all right there? I was like, yeah, just trying to do this. You're like, whoa, okay. They're like, oh, he doesn't have, this guy. Let's not ask for money for the guy who's clearly as far down as luck as you can get. So anyways, I have to keep walking back and forth to the store because every time I find another bolt or another problem or something that doesn't look, you look it up and it's not the same as it is in the video. I just happen to have the dumbest car imaginable, or I happen to be the dumbest guy possible. All that to say, I keep going back in the store to the point where I'm like friends with everybody. I'm like, hey, ding dong, the witch is dead. And like, hey, he's here again. Yeah. So I keep getting more parts and more tools and more things. And I honestly, it was a lone bright spot that I felt like I was the camaraderie. And then slowly as the day went on, dude, this was supposed to be a quick little thing. It takes me maybe 2.5 hours, okay? From this whole, I crashed at maybe like 2:30 p.m. and off the Dairy Queen and the battery, I probably get the thing out at around 6:30, all right? It's taken me a good clip. And so then I'm trying to get everything out and get everything back in. And it just, I had to use the force of the gods, dude, like just God of War Spartan rage. And it's because I would get my phone back on and I would text people like, oh, we really don't want to, but we will. And I didn't want to make anybody drive out there, dude. So I was like, just give me 5 more minutes and I'm pulling this thing and my hands are hot. I'm like, Eventually it comes loose and I throw it as far as I can. Suck it, alternator. Charge that up. And you know what? I'm not proud of that, okay? But sometimes you have to activate some rage to find some inner strength, okay? I tend to be pretty monk-like in most things that I do, but eventually, when you're Zen stroll cycle, I'm sorry, but you have, and you just get fired up and I pulled it out and it was a W. But I couldn't get the next one in, and in this sort of back and forth of having the battery on and off and plugging everything back in, I made a mistake. I blew a fuse, okay? So after all these hours, I'm sweating, my head is pounding, I haven't eaten, I'm tired, I'm like collapsing. The people at AutoZone, in fact, also got worried about me because I kept walking all the way back there and I'm like stumbling through and they, you doing okay? I was like, I'm gonna be just fine. We're going to get out of here. This is the last time you're going to see me. And then I kept seeing him more and more and more again. So anyways, I thought for a brief moment, my phone dies. I get the alternator back in. Doesn't work. Okay. Battery's not working. It's on like 4 minutes left of charge. Alternator's not working. I got no phone. I got no connection. I'm all out of data. I have no way to contact anybody. I'm nauseous. I'm like laying face down and there's trash throughout this entire Dollar Tree parking lot. And I'm just laying on top of like smashed Polar Pops and Nutra Valley wrappers. Okay, I'm just laying face down in the garbage, literally just trying not to throw up. And I was like, I need to somehow find a way to get water or electrolytes, and I can't DoorDash. I got no battery left to use. I can't contact anybody. I can't even look up if there's a hotel nearby. And back was against the wall for sure, for certain. Okay, and so what happened was that I made a mistake and I blew a fuse when putting the new alternator in, which would be fine. I mean, I'm talking to my brother Carlton on the phone. I'm like, oh, we found it. We figured it out. I just need to get this fuse. I need to go back to AutoZone to find a fuse. Just so happens my car it has like the dumbest fuse of all time that just nobody within, I think, 42 miles carries this fuse. So that was a problem. And I keep going down to different stores and trying to find a way to contact everyone. And it took a lot. It took a lot for me, dude. I was like, I don't know if I can get up. And he would give me more things and ideas to check out and look up. And I was like, I can't stand up straight at this point. It was pretty bad. It was definitely top 1 worst days of my life. And it was fine, because there was that O'Reilly's party, So there were wins along the way. You just gotta remember to take them. You have to remember that sometimes the world gives you opportunities just as well, but you gotta grab onto those. All right, it's not a one and done sort of thing. You gotta meet me in the middle. So, anyways, I'm really regretting that at this point, and it's just a pickle, dude. It's just a pickle, and I keep trying to get back up, and you keep trying to keep on going, and everyone's offering to come and get me at this point. And I just want to say thank you, all right, to my family, parents, brothers, to my kin, okay, to friends, to Bryce and Bree, to Drew, to anybody who was just texting me, looking out for me and saying, I'm going to drive 4 to 5 hours to come pick you up and drive. Like, that'd be 10 hours. You're going to drive vacation distance? You could make it to North Carolina in that kind of time. But just people willing to come and help me, the absolute pits of sorrow. But I kept thinking, I was like, you know what? You gotta get up. You gotta, you do that. This is what you do, dude. You get up, man. A lot of people, to say a little inspirational real quick, man, a lot of people, you get up and you start thinking, what would, for inspiration, a little bit of motivation, you think, what would my idol do? You start looking at people, what would my parents do? Okay, what would Gandhi do? What would Santa Claus do? And I don't know what Santa Claus would do in these moments, but I knew I'd ask myself, what would Tristan do? And Tristan keeps freaking getting up, and I was pretty proud of myself for that. So eventually, we can't find the fuse, and we're about to wrap it up. It's near 10 p.m. at this point, and we find a power steering fuse that is way too low, and not ideal to sort of replace for the alternator. But in theory, the last Hail Mary was to pull that from the power steering, so I no longer had any sort of AC or window wipers, or wasn't really using the lights, had no phone charger, but I was able to charge a portable like jump starting kit to get my battery up to about 18%. And so I had nothing, but I was able to have the alternator charged, okay? So I was flying. I made it back onto the road. After the depths of hell to the steps of Valhalla, I was thriving once again, and I was so stoked, and I was so happy. We were going to make it do, okay? The only issue was that I had to drive 4 to 5 hours with no power steering, so that was a bit tricky. You're like just absolutely muscling it out, and it was a bit of a workout, and I was driving with my legs as well just to get a good quad pump. It's all about you don't want muscle imbalances or anything like that, so it was a bit of a hike. But again, I can't believe I made it back, dude. I made it back around 1 a.m. I got done on set at noon. It took me 13 hours. And I made it back home. I didn't mean to stretch that story out as long as I did. Maybe I'll edit it down, maybe I won't. But again, we don't really have a lot of time because, again, thanks to my mom, is that she was able to watch my aunt's dogs in the midst of all this crap. So thank you that, and just thank you to everybody. Guys, you are all getting the most thoughtful birthday gifts of all time, okay? Ever! And if I can't think of anything, then you're just getting cold, hard cash, honestly, all right? Because I want you to know that I appreciate you. So anyways, got home late last night, did some extra voiceover work because I wasn't able to do it at the hotel or on the road. So I'm just tired. I'm out of it. I go to bed, wake up, and I decide I'm going to go get a haircut. They cut it way too short, but it's fine, I think most hairstyles just tend to work on my face because, not to sound pretentious, but it's perfect. But it was way too short, and that's what you get for going to Great Clips. All right, so you could think that things still aren't working out, but things always work out for me. All right, and they really do, and I'm still thriving because at the very least, okay, if you want to say things don't work out for you, and you go, what's the saying? What's the motto? What's that? You're wrong. Okay, at the very worst case scenario, all I did was spend a few hours to get a rockin' story, dude. All right? I was able to push myself to the point where I was like, I was being a little over dramatic in my own head, and I was like, this might be it, dude. I mean, this is a downtown Charlie Brown situation. I'm not in a good position. I have nowhere to contact. I have nowhere to go. I'm going to have to stay here for the night alone on this curb. I don't know how I'm supposed to do anything. And I was feeling pretty low. And to rise victoriously and make it back, quite honestly, I was thrilled, man. Quite honestly, I was thrilled. You take some L's and you record a podcast in 90-degree heat, but that is what it is. So, anyways, guys, I know that really wasn't much funniness, but that was the story. That was a 40-minute journey that I just went on, and that is only a fraction of what I was feeling and what it was like. But I'll have to say, hey, we did it. We made it, all right? It's nice to persevere. It's nice to win. It's nice to get the W's, all right? So I'm fine. I'm thrilled. I'm alive, and I'm well, and I got a sweet story out of it, all right? I mean, you have to pay money. I mean, I did pay money, but normally you got to pay a lot, hefty prices for a great story like that, and the world just gave that to me? Oh, I'm taking that one, okay? Again, there was no O'Reilly's Auto Parts right there. Left it away. But you know what I lacked in Auto O'Reilly's, I made up for in sweet stories, and even just not in a story, but fulfillment, dude. It's nice to win. It's nice to have your back against the wall and go, you know what? Yeah. And I pushed the wall back instead of me pushing forward. It's, I can't explain it. You guys get it. You guys get it. So I would absolutely tell you guys, I would probably cut that down if I had the time. Maybe. And I have more things that I want to tell you as well. But I am a bit nervous about the technology at the moment, about it's going to shut off because AI is not really that great, and computer and technology is not that great, and it's all going to crumble and it's all going to fall. So I got to get out of here because I love you guys itty bitty pieces, and I just want you to know that no matter what's happening, no matter how dark your day gets, you might get an O'Reilly's. And when you see that, when you see the oasis that is O'Reilly's Auto Parts, you should go in and you should fix your car. Because if you don't, there will be hell to pay. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, I know this one wasn't as funny, but I just woke up. I just woke up from this whole freaking thing, so I'm really just recounting my tales. I'm just regaling you with a story as warm as frosty with bad circulation and phlegm. What I'm trying to say is that it's cold. It's not a warm story at all. But I love everybody. I love all you guys. I love everyone that helped me. You guys are the best, and we'll be back in the next week, and you know what that means. I don't know. Hopefully a better sleep schedule. Hopefully, you know what? We're going to rise. We're going to rise. We're rising. All right. We're winning. I'll see you soon.